Good morning, everybody. This is a live tropical update as Hurricane Laura has just been named in the eastern Gulf of Mexico just after passing Cuba, and it is forecast to be a Category 3 hurricane at landfall, probably near the Texas-Louisiana border. But models are trending off to the west. It is putting Houston potentially at risk, potentially Galveston. Some of the models are even trending a little bit further west than that. So the jury is still out on exactly where this storm is going to hit. Houston could certainly be at risk. Galveston, the Bolivar Peninsula, there as well. All those locations we're keeping a close eye on, but the official track takes Hurricane Laura pretty close to Sabine Pass, right near the Texas-Louisiana border. This is an incredibly storm surge area, too, over here, over from Cameron, through the Bolivar Peninsula, down through Galveston as well. This area could easily see a 15 to 20 foot storm surge across the marshes here, near and just to the east of wherever that center comes ashore. But this is the compact core of Hurricane Laura that is certainly intensifying after moving off to the west of Cuba. There were a couple of hot towers rotating around that center. Those are like supercell storms, but releasing extreme amounts of latent heat. Those have acted to consolidating the inner core of Hurricane Laura, and you've got major wraparound happening here. There was a little bit of northerly shear, but mainly land interaction here as it was near the western tip of Cuba. But now it's moving over the open waters of the Gulf of Mexico, and then it's going to curve off to the north. That's in between the western edge of a Bermuda high. That's it's been stronger than the models have forecast throughout the last week, but it is slowly migrating off to the west, and also a pesky upper level low further west, just to the west of the southern plains. But I woke up this morning and we're trying to scout out some stilt homes in the Bolivar Peninsula, even down to the Galveston Island area, maybe over into southwestern Louisiana as well. But I wouldn't be surprised if this hurricane comes in as maybe even a Category 3, maybe even a Category 4 storm. But the spread is still substantial. There you can see the latest European model spread in those forecast tracks. That gives you an idea of how confident we are in the exact track coming in toward Texas, Louisiana. But you can see that the consensus has largely trended a bit west. So if you live in the Houston, Galveston area, you certainly want to keep an eye on this exact forecast track. And really that spread is anywhere from probably the Freeport area all the way to southwestern Louisiana, but it's certainly, at least the European model, is trending a little bit further west, and that's probably because of a weaker upper level low to the west of it. Again, the Bermuda high continues to strengthen stronger. And these are the intensity forecasts from Tropical Tidbits here, and you certainly never want to look at the exact intensities, but you can see this thing's going to be intensifying all the way to landfall, and that makes it a different beast of a storm. Those hurricanes that are intensifying on approach are a lot stronger than, of course, the ones that are weakening. They seem to be more effective at mixing those wind speeds down to the ground. The storm surges are often more powerful as well. And this one's going to be strengthening as it moves toward land. And that's why this is a very dangerous storm. You need to heed those evacuation warnings, heed those storm chase, or heed those storm surge warnings as well. But this looks like a dangerous storm. Very, very dangerous storm, potentially catastrophic as well. And those are the latest hurricane models. That's the European spread right there. But still, one thing to note if you live in the Houston, Galveston area is these tracks are trending off to the west, and that's definitely a dangerous trend for the Houston, Galveston area. And now I want to show you some data that we collected. This was inside Tropical Storm Marco yesterday. So we have our subsonic sensor. Yesterday, though, we deployed the dysdrometer. And this dysdrometer data shows you the hydrometeor distribution. So it shows the size of the raindrops. It also can be used to approximate the rainfall rate. We used it to sample some of the bands yesterday in Tropical Storm Marco. And you can certainly see the warm rain processes at play here. Excuse me. So in the tropics, you usually get smaller raindrop sizes. We call that warm rain processes. You have less ice up there, less coalescence between the different drops. So you get a much decreased spread in the droplet sizes. You get some larger drop sizes too in the mid latitudes, and you get those hail and graupel and different drop sizes coalescing. But in the tropics, you have what's called warm rain processes, and that means that you have a uniform size distribution of mainly small raindrops, looking at about centered around 3 millimeters here in raindrop size. And the disdrometer was deployed in Gulf Shores yesterday. It actually showed 2 different peaks. One band came through, then another stronger band came through. And the rainfall wasn't incredibly heavy with this one, but this is a really good data set for the weakest tropical cyclone I've ever intercepted in my 20-year career, and that's out of about 35 tropical cyclones. Starting with Hurricane Floyd in 2000, that was the first one that I intercepted, and that was inside of a mobile home on Cape Fear, North Carolina, with no vehicle, no cell phone. Power went out, blew the windows out of the mobile home. We're surrounded by water. And finally, 24 hours later, we were able to get out of there. And I see a similarly dangerous storm surge with this storm, in fact, a lot worse. This storm, the track reminds me a little bit of a Hurricane Rita back in 2005 that we intercepted. That one also had a very devastating storm surge. And the marshlands there of southwestern Louisiana to southeastern Texas are incredibly storm surge prone. So a storm surge of about 20 feet coming in there would be absolutely catastrophic, and that's why you definitely need to heed those warnings. But this is the disdrometer data from Tropical Storm Marco. We're going to deploy this into Hurricane Laura as well. We're also going to deploy the subsonic sensor. We've got the Windy Palms project too to mount the anemometers to palm trees. That's Mike Tice's project. And we've got Mike Scantlin down here too that's going to be launching the racing drone. So we've got an all hands on deck type of a situation here leading up to intercept. But we got to head down to the coast. I wanted to do a quick update here now that Hurricane Laura has been named in the Gulf of Mexico. This is Hurricane Laura right there. And we're going to be streaming live this entire intercept, of course. There you can see the 3D to show the biggest, the tallest towers. The tallest hot towers are right near the center, wrapping around the north side of the center, and that shows that Hurricane Laura, as it's cleared Cuba and has moved into the eastern Gulf of Mexico, is now going to intensify unimpeded on approach to likely East Texas, maybe near the Louisiana border, Sabine Pass area. But definitely keep an eye on this. Heed all those evacuation warnings. Stay tuned, and we're going to be heading down to the coast to intercept this monster hurricane. And it's coming in Wednesday night. That's the timing right now, Wednesday night into very, very early Thursday morning. So it's likely going to be a nighttime landfall. But stay safe, everybody. Stay tuned. Information saves lives. Heed those evacuation warnings and get out of the path of this thing, because this is going to be one that we remember for a very, very long time. Like the Hurricane Harveys, the Hurricane Katrinas, Hurricane Ritas that you remember, Hurricane Michaels even. This is going to be a powerful hurricane. So definitely heed those warnings. Stay tuned and get out of the path of it if you have any question. So thank you, everybody, for joining me for my weather reports today. We're going to hit the road and start heading down to our target area and begin prepping our shelters to intercept Hurricane Laura. Thanks, everybody, and have a great rest of your day.